Manager burnout, why your retail leaders are exhausted. You might be wondering, why is turnover so high in my store? Or why are my crew so exhausted by the end of the day? And how can I fix it? That's what we're talking about here today. In this video, I'm going to cover key pitfalls to why your managers are falling down. I'm also going to talk about strategies how to correct that. And more importantly, we're going to end up ending the idea of a burned out manager. We're going to have productive managers that make not only more money, but make better people. Now let's get to it. So why are your managers feeling exhausted? Quite simply, they're trying to do everything and they're failing. Think of it as a juggler with the balls in the air. And they were probably your best salesperson at some time. Let's be honest, that's what we usually promote. And so they were great at it, right? They knew how to communicate with people, they could sell your merchandise, but now they're charged with doing the whole store. And let's face it, if your employees aren't trained and they don't really want to work there underneath the manager, they're getting a lot of call outs, the managers are going through and they're trying to do a lot of things. Plus with AI and new different apps, they're telling them what to do. And they're actually becoming slaves to what the AI says instead of leading it. And so how do you help them get that back? That's going to come down to, what does success look like for you? What's the most important thing a manager has to do every day? One of my personal beliefs is they have to make their first sale a day. What? One, it keeps them grounded. Two, they show the crew that that's what's most important. And three, they keep their skills up. What burns out people the most is trying to do too many items at once and sequestering themselves, pulling themselves back away from the retail store. So if they're hanging out in the back of the store and they're on Zoom calls and they're going through and they're looking at reports all day, then they've lost that human connection. And worse, if they're not part of the hiring, right? You've had someone else hire them, or have you used all these other algorithms to get people in and say, they're now working for you? They didn't have any ownership. So the idea of them building them up is hard. So here's what I want you to do is think, what does success look like for this manager? And what are the problems you're encountering? And then go and listen to those managers and then say, well, what kind of training would you need to get over this feeling? And they say, oh, I need more bodies, right? Of course they're going to want more bodies. I'm going to need more staff to be able to help me with this. And you have to pull them back and say, well, that's reasonable, or this is not reasonable. After going and teaching them to do that first sale of the day is you want them to be able to learn how to schedule their time. That's why doing the first sale of the day means they're on the sales floor probably for the first hour. When it's slow, they can look around, they can see if the assistant manager's doing their job, keeping the associates doing their job, which is to notice when displays don't look well, cleaning the store, making sure everything is priced, etc. But more importantly, it keeps them grounded, and then what do they do the rest of the day? If it's just fight fires, there is no plan, because there's always fires, right? The shipment was late, somebody needs a refund, somebody's upset, you're getting a phone call. And all those notifications that you think are so great in your task apps are ways to distract. And the problem with that is, just like for your associates, the more notifications that happen, the more they're a slave to their phone. And they're looking down and they're out of your four walls. So part of time scheduling is being able to turn off your phone. But Bob, they need it for, yeah, I get it, but they could learn to do that once every hour, let's say. But if you don't train it, what's going to happen is they are going through and those dings are happening and they're constantly looking down, and that adds to the stress because it's overwhelming and it doesn't matter, right? And it's the same thing with your associates. Those news notifications, or there's a new TikTok with a cat arguing with an alligator, and isn't that funny? Yeah, turn those off. Because the more interactions that happen, the more your listening is Swiss listening. You kind of hear it, but you don't. And another way that I think that managers need to manage better, and it'll help them feel better, is not repeat yourself. So go through, and when I tell you the reasoning we're doing something and why, ask that employee to tell you in one line, so what did I just ask you to do? And then bite your tongue. You'll be shocked how many times it's totally different. So make sure that they understand what you're saying, and that again helps them develop their voice and commitment to getting it right, but also be more inclined to say this person is or isn't cutting it, and then reward those who are and get rid of the others that aren't. I was talking to a client the other day and he said, well, I don't know how the training's going to work. You know, I have some people that work only 16 hours a month. And I said, you mean a week, right? And he goes, no, a month. I go, why the heck are they working there? Well, they're really good. I go, they're not really good 16 hours in a month. What is that? 2 hours, 3 hours a week? Well, yeah, they're really, no, you're probably giving them the great shifts. So they've given them Saturday when it's busy and they do great. Well, train your other crew to do that, because you can't build your business on a bunch of tiny part-timers. You need people that's main goal is to be there with you. And if they have a side hustle, that's fine. But if you're the side hustle, then you're probably going to be struggling. And more importantly, that's what leads to call-outs, which is the other leading factor to manage your burnout, which is, I've got to fill 3 shifts today. I can't take my day off. And they feel like they are indentured servants. And I don't want that for them. So when their day off is there, you want to make sure that the assistant manager knows everything to be done. Do not call me for an exception. Do not call me for, can we do this or that? What would you do if I wasn't there? You could text that to me, but don't be calling me. And I know that's severe, right? If you want to get a handle on your burned out managers, that means you give them the space to be managers and you give them their personal space back. Because I was watching some video about retail managers, and it showed how the average manager had 7 to 8 apps now that they had to talk to, along with a headset. So this constant chatter is always there. What's important to you? Most important thing is, how do I drive sales, isn't it? If that's what your goal is, that everything comes down to success looks like we have a higher KPI because you are the manager. If that's not it, if it's a matter of let's just keep putting out fire and putting out fire and fire, of course you're losing managers. I don't care how much more money you're going to pay them a year. It's not worth it. So if you're looking to be able to grow your sales and to make sure that you don't have burned out managers, it's simple. Be able to give them training on how do I manage my time. Make them do the first sale of the day. Make them go through and get out from behind that counter. And more importantly, give them the space to be human beings when they're off the clock and be more productive when they're on the clock. Hey, and before I forget, you may hit that subscribe button because that's most important. When I put out new videos, you'll get first notice. But I also have an offer for you down below. You'll find other videos. In fact, I go deeper into that in another video you'll see related to this one. And if your business is over $1 million a location, schedule a strategy call with me. That's down there below as well. And if you don't make that, then check out those videos, because ultimately, unless you're willing to learn something new every day, you're probably going to be the same guy that you were yesterday. And that's not going to make you money. That's just going to give you excuses. I'm Bob Phibbs, the Retail Doc, out.